Now we're going to look at staff expense change. And once again, we're looking at year-on-year percentage change. We're going from 2018 through to 2024 financial year, all financial years, all audited financial statements. And what we're particularly focused on are those middle lines, the median and the mean. They're the best measures of central tendency or typicalness. And you've got Q1 and Q3, which give you some idea of spread. So let's have a look at what was happening. Typically, you were bubbling around between 2 and 4% until up to and including 2022, which was really a great outcome because you've got to remember staff wages go up 3 or 4% every year, according to the enterprise bargaining agreement, to keep a pace with cost of living pressures and things like that. So to control it like that was actually some pretty good work by our local governments. I'm sure no one thanked the local government. But in 2023, things took a turn for the worse. The typical council staff expenses went up 6%. 2024, typical council staff expenses went up by 8 or 9%. Now, once again, your revenue during this period wasn't going up by these things. Your rate cap was somewhere between 2 and 3%, maybe 3.5%, depending on the year and your population factor. It wasn't keeping up to the year-on-year percentage change in staff expenses. Now, where are these extra staff expenses coming about from? Well, one thing is all the extra stuff state governments loading on to local government. Now, if you're in Australia and you want to solve your own financial problems in your higher tier of government, what you do is you kick the can down to someone that's lower down the pecking order, and that's local government, and that's what's been happening. All this extra work, all these new policies to make local government more transparent or whatever, and I've got no issue with those things, but all those extra things require extra work, which require extra staff, which increases your staff expenditure. Now, there is a great urban myth in Australia about how local government staff are sitting on the bottoms all day with nothing to do, leaning on their shovels. It's just not true. Not in rural local government where I've spent most of my time. I've been to 30, 40 councils. Typically, I see all the staff running around like a chook with their head cut off, trying to do far too much in far too little time. Typically, I find that most of your local government workers will be the same at Leeton. They've got skin in the game. They have their family and their children there and their parents there and their cousins and uncles and things. They live in the town. They're ratepayers themselves. They've got skin in the game. They want to do a good job because they personally see the effects of what they do. And that's why local governments, compared to in rural areas, compared to city councils, are much, much more efficient, much, much more effective because we all care about the place because we live there. So that's one urban myth I want to dispel, and one cause of the increased staff expenses, the state government and federal government kicking their stuff down to us. The other cause, of course, is EBA. And the third thing is new programs and new things. And that all involves new staff. Particularly, as I said, you've heard me complain about the profligate spending urged on by the media, the state and federal governments after COVID. All that stuff had to be delivered, and a lot of it was delivered by your local government staff. I've said many, many times, and I will say it until the day I die, your most valuable asset in your council, and Leeton, just like any other rural council, is your staff. Look after your staff, because if you ever lose your staff, and yours are actually a good bunch, guys, you might whinge about them, but I'm comparing them to lots of other councils. If you ever lose your staff, you'll really have something to complain about. It's your biggest asset. Treasure them, support them, and certainly never turn on them. That's a recipe for disaster. Look, I hope that's given you a better idea of what's happening out there in every other council. The chances are, if these councils are doing these things, so are yours. It's not good news. There's nothing good about it. I'm extremely concerned about state financial sustainability for local government. I'm particularly concerned about state government and federal government policies that keep impacting on financial sustainability. All I can do is give you the facts. Congratulations if you got this far. You watched through the whole video. Typically people don't, because they don't want to hear all the facts, particularly if they don't comply with their preconceived ideas. But the numbers are the numbers. They come from audited statements. I can't do anything about them. All I can do is put them out there and try to show you that local government is under pressure too, just like you are, but actually a lot more. The things that local government have to use the things that really went up in price, more so than their household budgets. Anyway, hope it was helpful. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.